Walter's in chat, and anyone else in chat, if you got questions, hit us with it. We'll cover it as soon as we can. Walter asks, when you go to the doctor to have a test, I guess blood test, they say it's normal for a man to lose testosterone in older age, but they immediately want to refer TRT to you. And yes, I've seen this as well. So Walter's total test is 288. They say it's in normal range. And he told them, I'm going to increase my test at least to 600. That's a good starting point goal for sure. I was told yes to do that. And he mentioned Aphro-D to his doctor. It sounds like he says, you don't want ashwagandha? I've taken both, and Aphro-D is by far better. Yeah.
Right.
And I can tell now I'm feeling that rundown feeling also. Yeah. So for that, I mean, yes, it depends on the clinic you go to and how, I guess, desperate they are for customers. Because just like we went over on the last pod with my blood work analysis last Friday, dude wanted to put me on TRT even at 800 plus testosterone. And
bro, I got the thing for you, boy. I mean, you could have that would have been like a bodybuilder's dream if you were just trying to get TRT from the right clinic. Bro, you're 800, but you could be 1800 if you just take this TRT.
Right. But yeah, not sustainable in the least for that, and definitely unhealthy to take exogenous stuff that it's like putting rocket fuel in like a Volkswagen Beetle. Like if your body can't handle that shit because you've neglected it, then you're ultimately going to screw up your internals. And that's what we see, of course, in bodybuilders dying left and right all the time. Unfortunately, it's very sad. So it's funny they mentioned ashwagandha. That's something the first TRT clinic I went to would mention as well. And, it does have really good properties when it comes to stress reduction and excess cortisol. But it's not going to be that game changer like, of course, even Walter mentions Aphro-D is, because you help formulate Aphro-D and everything as well and continue its production. The quality of Tonkat Ali is unmatched, because you hear this on Joe Rogan's podcast basically all the time now. The Tonkat Ali is real shit if you have the good quality kind. So you have that, the main testosterone boosting foundation, but it covers that ashwagandha anti-cortisol aspects with the other herbs in there. Also increases blood flow, signaling. Of course, blood flow increases your erections, the signaling to produce testosterone to your balls. That communication gets just reinforced much better. And of course, improved sleep quality, which can happen with ashwagandha too, to an extent. But with Aphro-D, it's definitely more acute. I think both of you and I noticed it's like instantly, even first day or first night after we took it in the morning, you're able to just flip off your mind and go to sleep. And that was something I hadn't experienced in a long ass time.
Great dreams too. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, the vivid dreams. Yeah, like the sex dreams. That's kind of a gauge on how like I noticed my testosterone production was like having vivid dreams too. And I think there's definitely a correlation there. So yeah, I mean, I recommend Aphro-D to every person that's a male and has the plumbing to produce testosterone, and that has all these issues, because most all of us do. And that's why it was formulated in that way, for the basic normal person to go through and have these general issues everyone does in society. We all have these same obstacles in our environment, and that's why those bases should be covered, because we live so differently from when we were caveman with probably like 1200 nanogram per deciliter totals, So just that primal, bringing that to us in some package is huge. And that's why it makes such a huge difference in people's blood work. To address Walter's question, I mean, it's definitely an obstacle to talk to your doctor about taking things naturally. Would I say stay away from ashwagandha? I'd say no. It can definitely help, but Aphro-D is for sure the best bet. And from there, you also have to look at everything else you're putting in your body too, and your lifestyle, because having excess body fat will increase estrogen, which is also something that will stop the production of your testosterone. And when that just gets prolonged, that's how we see estrogen dominance in men. naturally. And prolactin being high, you really have to have your dopamine really set on productive things too. That's one of the biggest things, perhaps, is actually taking care of shit that will make a difference for you, not watching the fucking football game of dudes that have some other guy's shirt on their back or some other guy's name on the back of their shirt. Those guys that like are doing fantasy football stuff and getting dopamine spikes from that, it's like, dude, unless you're making a shit ton of money from this, just stop it. Like, go to the gym. At least do cardio while you're watching it or something. Yourself. Yeah. So there's too much investment when our dopamine signals get hacked and we're investing in other things besides ourselves. So you really got to look at lifestyle stuff too and use Aphro-D as that spark to get those gears running so you can make a true difference in your physique, in your muscle mass, and look like you should have high testosterone. And that should be a good gauge as well, because that's your body. So if you're able to take care of all those things, then your body's like, hey, this dude can handle it. And so that's what I'd say on that. Do you have any advice for Walter specifically, JMO?
My advice for Walter specifically would be, well, first and foremost would just be talking about how he already went and did that process and made it through that process. It's not easy. So I would commend him for just being able to have that conversation. And when it comes to the regimen he'd be taking, my recommendation, depending where he lives, I think lifestyle for me is what made a huge difference. I mean, taking the herbs, making sure my diet was good, making sure I was in the gym. But there's a lot of things that I easily overlooked that are simple and that are free that I highly recommend now. And probably the biggest one is sunlight, and being able to go outside. Those are the two things, like just finding a patch of grass to be outside barefoot and just be able to get a little bit of sunlight on your face. You don't have to be out there naked unless you want to be, which would be awesome. But even if you get it on your skin, like that is such a good way to naturally increase your, not only your testosterone, but your hormones that make your body feel good, which in turn will help optimize your testosterone levels too. So that's something that I make sure I don't forget, because it's so easy to overlook and just so easy to stay inside or keep my shoes on or don't incorporate it in my day, because it's so easy. It's so free. And it's like one of those things that you can like, I'll do it later, because it takes a minute. So you can just always push it off. But that would be a great place to start. It feels good. Your body feels better if you're in an area where you get sunlight. You're in Utah and it's not sunny all the time. Make sure you get sunlight when it's sunny, and make sure to spend a little bit of extra time outside when it's a nice day out. Even if it's a cold winter day and there's snow on the ground, if the sun's out, there's still a lot of benefits to that.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that covers so many bases as well. That's a very solid recommendation. You got your eyes seeing what time of day it is, so your body is also calibrating its sleep cycles and circadian rhythm by being outside. On top of that, the stress relief, just being able to relax and let loose outside. You could also be entertaining your brain a little bit by listening to an audiobook. You could be going for like a post-meal walk or something, like after dinner. Everything like that, stacking it all together, huge dividends for sure. That's an excellent recommendation.